Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, and today is a very chatty get ready with me. I have 3 beverages in front of me because after this, I'm going to go straight into filming the best of videos. So settle in. This is probably going to be longer than usual. I am mostly focusing on the new color fluids from HINDASH, or new to me. These have been out for a little while now, but they're now available on Beautylish, which is very exciting. So if that sounds good to you, I will try to leave timestamps down below when we get into demoing the product, but I will recap my thoughts at the very end. And yeah, let's buckle in. I got a lot to talk about, you know? While I do my skin prep, because my skin is so very dry, I'm going to go in with my typical Phytosurgence Sea Submerge, Verdant Forcefield, and then Live Tinted. Everything will be listed in the description box down below per usual, so we'll kind of omit calling out every product. We'll see if I remember that. But thank you to everyone who responded to the poll that I put up yesterday. Today is Saturday, and I asked if you guys were kind of just over the influx that I know we've all been seeing of yearly favorites. I don't want to shout into the void if everyone's kind of burnt out on that. I know that I'm kind of behind in terms of like when YouTubers should post that, but the majority of you did want to see that, so I am going to sit down and film those videos. I'm thinking I'm going to just knock it out in 2 videos. They're probably going to be longer, one more so than the other, but I am excited to do that because there are a couple products I haven't yet gotten to talk about on my channel that did make it into my yearly favorites because I purchased them, I think sometime in October is the majority of those. And if you are not new here, you know that it's been wild, and we're going to get into a lot of that today because I typically have a horrible time during Mercury retrograde. I know that that's like a joke, but if you're really into astrology, it's not, and you know the nuances that are there. But not only was Mercury in retrograde, Mars was in retrograde, and I need to go back and look. One of the videos I was like, I need to check the stars because something's happening. And I think I said that early on because this has been going on since, I believe, October. It all makes sense. And today is the first day that I'm in like such a good mood. And it's so funny because yesterday Mercury went direct, which we're not out of the woods yet. It's still not moving in the right direction. It's just not going backwards at the current moment. Oh, not only did that happen, we got awesome revenge tracks from Shakira and Miley Cyrus. I mean, just absolute bangers. And I love a diss track. I'm not gonna lie, that's the petty side of me, but I love when women just like, I think Shakira says it in her song, like, women are just gonna get their money. So very, very happy for those two. And happy that I have new music to get me out of this funk. But also RuPaul's Drag Race is back on. It just feels like I'm starting to peek through the woods. We're not all the way through the woods yet, but I can like see the other side of the woods, you know, like the field on the other side. It's been absolutely wild. Like, well, I'm gonna let this sink in while I go on my tangent here. I just have had such a hard last few months, and it's come from kind of all angles. Like health-wise, it's been really rough, and we touched on some of that. I knew that I wanted to get back into like a better health routine, but if you struggle with PCOS or hormonal issues, you know that even though you've decided that you're going to take the steps to better your health, it takes a couple of cycles for you to like reap those benefits because your body, you have to be consistent enough that your body kind of catches up to your brain, if you know what I mean. So it's been really rough in that regards. Migraines, I almost feel like my migraines are back to like 2019 migraines, which then affect my sleep, which then feeds into this whole terrible cycle. I've had so many nights recently where I have not gone to bed until like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. It's insane. Last night was 4, I think, but with the help of my wonderful, amazing, best ever husband, he's helping wake me up because I'm just going to power through today and hopefully reset my internal clock. So that house stuff's been going on. I mentioned the car accident that I was in. The holidays are always crazy. It just feels like things have been really nuts. And if we look at astrology, which in the state that I was in, I was kind of not, I didn't have the capacity. But now understanding that, like, it was definitely a time. And let me say this. I know that not everybody is going to believe in, agree with, or think that astrology is okay. Believe whatever you want to believe. To me, astrology, I think, is an excellent introspective kind of self-awareness, self-development tool, and also a tool that I use to kind of stop myself and say, you need to slow down, or give myself a kick in the butt, like, you need to gist and get it together, which, if you know what gist is, let me know. I was a big Kaylin Nicholas fan. Is it Nicholas? Kaylin? I think. She's here on YouTube. She's amazing. Especially when she was like in her Toronto apartment era, I loved. And just her fall videos. She could be my friend in real life. But she always talked about gist, which is get your together, and that's what I call it, my gist days. I need to gist, my gist list, like, it's just a good way to remind yourself of the things where it's like, this is what's important to get it back together. And I love astrology for all that. Right now, it's given me a moment to say, like, it's okay that my beginning of my year started out kind of slow. We don't all have to be racing towards the finish line and, listing out all of our goals. I don't typically do New Year's resolutions or goals anyway. I'm more of a word of the year gal. And I've been doing that for probably 5 or 6 years, and I actually got it from Kaylin. But this year, I haven't decided on a word yet, and I'm totally okay with that. It might come to me mid-year, and we're just going to pick up whenever, that inspiration hits. I'm not really in a rush. I think mainly my focus right now is just, I even said this in the last kind of health get right with me, sleep schedule, and just getting my health back on track. But I just feel like the stars aligned quite literally, and things are just allowing me to kind of feel a lot of relief of pressure. And work was crazy. Work was so crazy. And it's not the end of the year for our fiscal calendar at work, so that craziness is not going to die down, but I feel like at least the noise in my personal life is going to calm down enough to kind of allow that to be a little chaotic without kind of overrunning everything, which is nice. Let me know. First of all, do you guys like astrology? And second of all, did you know about, I feel like everyone knows about Mercury retrograde because it's such like a meme now that you just blame everything on retrograde. But did you know about the Mars retrograde? Do you listen to any kind of like astrology readings? Because I'm getting to the point now, I don't read like predictions that are like, you're going to find the love of your life today, or like, love is going to blossom for you. I more so listen to Chani Nicholas, and hers are more of like astrology readings that tell you where the planets are and what it means for the placement in your own birth chart, which you could kind of take as a prediction, but it's more so just understanding the ebbs and flows based on your birth chart, if that makes any sense at all. We got real woo-woo there, But yeah, I'm so curious to know what you guys think about all of that, and if you felt the impacts. But also, outside of astrology, let's go back to those revenge songs. Miley Cyrus Flowers is the disco bop that I needed, because anytime I'm in a funk, disco and dance pop is what gets me out. Every time. It used to be rap, but I also feel like that was when I was in my like very grind stage. Like I needed to focus on career, and now I'm like focusing on just being healthy and happy more than anything else, and pop dance pop's where it's at. And the disco feel in this song, so good. The whole story behind it is good. I need to know if they've ever confirmed if that was indeed the house that like Liam cheated on her with, that she filmed the video. We need to know answers. If you know the answer, let me know. That is iconic. And then Shakira. Shakira's was a lot less subtle. It was basically just like, I'm better than you and your new girl. But the song itself is also a bop. I really love that. And I'm excited to kind of force myself, not force, but like I'm excited to push myself to get back into music, because I can tell my mental health is not doing well when I'm not listening to music. And I listened to it all morning and I'm in such a good mood now. All right, now that I ranted, I've skin prepped. Let me do some lip prep. I've also put on my foundation, concealer, and powder. I'm just gonna pop some lip prep on because I am going to be using a more matte product first. It just hit me that this Kinship vegan lip jelly mask kind of smells like popsicles to me. Not even a specific kind of popsicle, just popsicle. But anyway, while we're here, why we are all here, the HINDASH Fluids. So I picked up all 5 shades during his Black Friday sale on his website. They were all 25% off. Each of these are $25. They're now available through HINDASH's website and Beautylish. So if you want to do the gift card sale event or wait for HINDASH sale, I would highly recommend it, especially if you want to pick up more than one. I will go ahead and quickly swatch all of these for you. But I do plan on using nothing but these for all of the color cosmetics on my face. And as of right now, there are 4 matte shades and 1 kind of glittery shade. All right, so here we go, all 5 shades. Also, we'll get into this in a second, but I have redone my office and this lighting is the most accurate that I've ever had. We're using quite a lot of daylight, so that first shade is Carve, that top taupe shade. Very neutral, like right down the middle, perfect taupe. Then we have Thorn, which is a deep chocolate brown. There's a hint of warmth and reddish tones to it. Then we have Heartbeat, which is this kind of rosy mauve. It is more rose, especially once you kind of start blending it out, which I'm going to try to just blend the tail end of these guys. It's almost like a peachy rose once it's blended out on my skin tone. Then we have Rising, which is this very bright kind of like electric orange. It's definitely like an orange coral. There's not a lot of pink to it. It's mostly orange. And then last we have Boy Tears, which is the only glittery shade. And it is like a champagne. There's quite a bit of pink to it. Like somewhere in the middle of champagne and rose gold is what I'm getting on the skin. Beautiful. So the top 4 again are matte. The bottom is glitter. And we're going to put this all over the face. He says that this is a fluid, matte or glittery product that can be used all over the face, eyes, lips, cheeks, for a monochromatic look, to build your whole look. Today, we're going to build a whole look with as many of these colors as possible. And I'm going to show you how versatile these are and how I use them, because I have been wearing these nonstop for a week now, I think, or a week and a half, somewhere around there. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so to start, I'm trying to channel Nora, is it Brannon, I think, from The Watcher. So I've got like my gold chains, my white sweater, and my Nora inspired ring. I will link these down below. This is newer to me, so I can't talk about the longevity, but I haven't gotten any green marks yet. And it is gold plated. The necklace I've had for a long time. It's gold plated from Gorjana. I got it in the Nordstrom anniversary sale in 2020. And then this Libra necklace, which is my rising sign, is from Ellie Veil, which is a new brand I'm testing It is PVD gold, which is like a little bit of gold mixed in with stainless steel. So it's supposedly waterproof, sweatproof, pool-proof, ocean-proof. You don't have to worry about your perfume, all those things. I'm still testing it, but so far I really like it. We'll get into that in my fashion recap. Stay the course, Rachel. So I'm going to start the look today. I'm going to carve out my cheeks and do some contouring with Carve, so aptly named. And how I've been using these, you absolutely can dot on the face. They blend out beautifully. But what I like to do is load it up on the back of my hand and then go in with my brush. I'm going to use the Smith 151 today. I haven't used this in a while. I'm just going to lay it down first and then we'll blend it out. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, I got into a tiff because I hadn't slept well in a few days, and I felt like I wasn't being productive at work because I wasn't feeling well, and also because my office just got to a point where it was like hard to keep my 9 to 5 working area solely that, and it was kind of pushed into a corner. And my makeup vanity was on the wall that my desk used to be on before I started filming. And I just felt like, I don't know if feng shui is what happened. I would love to get into feng shui at some point. I just never have gotten that into it. Anyway, I just felt like I really needed to take my desk back to where it was. Isn't that gorgeous? It's so pretty. It is the perfect tone for me if I'm fair. You saw kind of I went in somewhat heavy. I think you might want to bump up to Thorn, but it's going to depend on your skin tone. If you're lighter than me, which like, that's intense, no shade, you can do what I'm going to do with the blush in a little bit, but I'm also going to take that up into my crease, and I'm going to switch over now to the Refer 01, just a buffing brush, and I'm just going to buff that in. But I moved my desk, and I just didn't have space for the IKEA Alex desk that I was using as my vanity, and it was just in the way. It took up too much of the room. I like keeping the leather chair in here because I edit in there. On days where I don't feel well, I work from there, and it's like Frank's safe spot in my office. So I took that, I'm just taking this on the outer third now. I took that out of my office completely, and instead I bought a folding table, which is what I'm filming on, and I can easily tuck it away into the closet that's in my office, but it also allows for better range of light. It's just going to force me to be more organized. You know, fingers crossed. And I just realized, I need to blend a little bit here, just realized I forgot to put my eyebrows on. But I'm very excited for the setup. I think this lighting is going to be much more true to color. I'm channeling Nora Brandon today. Hopefully that comes through. I'm just letting my hair dry. It'll be done in the other videos, don't you worry. And before I go any further, I bought this a few months ago and I wanted to bust it out. It's the Ulta Beauty Dual Ended Brow Highlight Illuminator. And I think one side, looks like one side is almost my skin tone, but shimmery. You can kind of catch it in the light there. The other side is matte and it is quite pink. I didn't expect it to be that pink. I'm going to go in with the shimmery one, and I just want to, I wanted to check this out because way back in the day, I was obsessed with the Benefit version of this, the original one. I know that they've come out with it again, but I think it's been obviously reformulated since 2010, and I would expect formulas to be updated, but I just remember loving that original one, and I am going to go in, even though my Rose Ink Concealer highlights in here for me. I just want to see, tap that out. I just want to see if it does anything. It definitely does on the brow bone, and I think I might be really happy with that. But that's Carve. All that to say, that's Carve. I really like this. It is a very natural contour on me, almost bridging into bronzer. But today, I want to go the extra mile. So I've been using Carve as my kind of contour and even the shaping that I do with my eyeshadow. And then I've been using Thorn primarily on my eyes, and then a mixture of Heartist, Carve, and my foundation as blush, which we are going to do, and that's the trick that I wanted to show you with these. But what I kind of want to do today is do a mixture of these two to see if I can get a little bit of bronzer to further build on the shadows we just created. So let's try that. I am trying so hard to keep my sweater from meeting its demise. Okay, so I'm going to take like that much of Carve, and then I'm going to do like a dot of Thorn. I'm going to mix that together. And before I forget, these have a flat paddle applicator, which I really love. You can load up both sides of this and really get a decent amount on the back of your hand. Once you kind of start shearing this out, so that's the color I'm going to get. I'm going to add a little bit of foundation, and this is the best trick. And it does mix, my Nars at least, mixes very well. Ooh, mixes very well with this formula. Oh, okay. We're getting somewhere. That's nice. I'm going to add a touch more of Thorn to see if some of that, it's darker, but it's also warmer, just to see if some of that warmth will come through. That's pretty cool still. So actually, let's go ahead and add a touch of Rising, which is l'orange, you know, she very orange. Is that the ticket? Let's do a swatch comparison next to Carve and see. I almost feel like Carve is a better bronzer. Carve's almost like a bronzer contour for me. It's not so cool that it's just a contour, because like I said, it's kind of right down the middle of that neutral. Let's just add a touch and see what happens, because we're going to go in with blush anyway. So I'm just going to tap a little. This is definitely rosier, obviously. Rosier than what we had before. So let's see if that does anything for us. I'm going to go in, same brush that we used for our contour. The only thing I'm going to have to figure out with this setup is where I want to place my mirror. Because I was using, I like that. Oh yeah, I like that. I'm going to go just a touch on the forehead here. And as you can see, you can put these on as sheer or as pigmented as you want. I really, really appreciate that. These are a very exciting product to me, and we're going to get to that at the end. But I was using an old school one of those ones that lights up that's on a pedestal, and it was the perfect height because I was looking into the mirror right where the lens is on my camera, and right now I'm looking down and this way. We're going to work on it. And I'm going to take that swatch that I did of Carve on its own and just chisel my chin a little bit. But I also like that these keep the radiance for me, but they are not sticky. They do have a dry down. And depending on the amount you mix up, like obviously this swatch, once I took some off the top, this is dry now. Except for this tail end where there's still a layer of it. But this dries out super quickly once you blend it out. Like that. Whereas if you have a decent amount of product on the back of your hand, it's not going to dry out so fast that you can't work with it. And I love that happy medium. But just know that going into it, if you are being a little more cautious and you only lay a little bit down, it's going to dry a lot quicker. But I'll be honest, even once it dries, you still have time to keep blending, which, amen, sista. Okay, so blush. I'm going to go in to Heartist on the back of my hand again, because we're going to mix. This is just a little too rose for me off the bat. So I like to add a little something. I like to add just a touch of Carve, just a touch, because I don't want it to start going into the other colors we mixed, and just like the tiniest pump of foundation. And we're going to mix that, and it's going to become our blush. I think the only color we're probably not going to use today is the orange, but I can't wait to bust that out, especially in summer. So this is like a very me shade, very me shade. It just tones down the peachy pink in that a little bit. And I am going to add a healthy amount, because I love blush. I'm just going to tap that in with a angled blush brush. This one's from Beautypie. How beautiful is that? And these products just look like skin. I can't rave about these enough. I have been wearing these, and it's been so fun. You would think like, ugh, I don't want to mix my own colors. It's not going to come out exactly the same every time. I've been having a ball mixing up my own colors, playing around with these colors. I really hope that he has more colors in mind. And also, if you need inspiration, because what I'm about to do with my eyes is directly from Hindash's Instagram. So it's not going to be exactly what he does, but very inspired by. He has a ton of tutorials with these products. It's incredible. So talented. He will, if you don't apply makeup the way that he does, which I doubt you are doing, very light washes, watercolor, very flick of the wrist. It's just stunning makeup and so inspiring, and it's so fun to get to use the products that he's using and get looks that just look so natural and beautiful. So I'm going to go grab my brow stuff and we'll get that knocked out, and then we'll start in the eyes. OMG, the journey I just took to get my brow products. The only negative thing about this vanity move is right now I have all of my beauty in my closet. Most of it, no, I'm not going to say most, half of it fits in the Refer vanity organizers on a wire shelf right now in my closet. I would love to build shelves and drawers out in that. I might go look at IKEA and do like, I feel like everyone uses the pack system, but if it fits and it's inexpensive in that closet, I'm all for it. But the other half, which includes basically everything that was in my vanity drawers before, is now in a tote. And I just had to dig through it because I just did this to my office a couple days ago, and I really haven't done my makeup in 2 days because I've been just trying to catch up with life. So I just had to dig, and I have to censor myself here. I'm pretty much out of breath from just doing that. And that's why we don't do resolutions here. I'm just kidding. But I just need to figure out, I do have a couple of drawers open in the kind of credenza behind me that I also kind of cleaned that out. I like went on a organizing rampage. And so I think I might be able to keep the other half of my makeup in there. So it's either going to be a closet organizer or in there. And we shall see. Probably going to start out in there to see if I can prevent myself from having to spend a bunch of money. And I should have some containers. If not, I don't ever feel bad about buying drawer organizing inserts because I use them everywhere. I'm going to go into Thorn, and I'm going to go into a shorter, what are these called? It looks like a paintbrush. This is the Katie Jane Hughes Spectrum 22. These are liner brushes, but obviously the stick straight one, not the angled one. I don't have a freaking clue what I'm saying. Anyway, I like the shorter one because I have more control, and I'm not trying to do a super long like flick, and I feel like I have more control with the shorter one. You might feel like you have more control with a longer bristle, like the 24 from the same brush collection, so you can kind of see the difference there. To me, I would use this if I really wanted to like create a flick and we're not doing that today. But I like to go in with this, and I'm going to create a liner line first. And then I'm going to take my brush towards that corner of my eyebrow and flick just like I would with a regular liquid liner. I think that's why I like this, because I typically use a felt tip liquid liner. So anything the same shape and size, essentially, I'm going to like. And this also gives me a much skinnier wing, which I've been liking, bringing it out a little bit further and keeping it a little bit thin, even though that's probably not thin to a lot of you. And I'm going to go in with this angled eyebrow eyeliner brush, whichever you want to call it. And I'm just going to start smudging while that's still a little bit wet. We are going to blend even more once it dries down a little bit more, but just kind of like dragging the brush in. And I am going to let that set. But before I do, grab either a pencil brush or kind of a fluffier eyeshadow brush. Can you even, what am I doing here? Like this, it has a little bit of width to it. And continue to kind of smudge. You do want to let it set down just a little bit, because I did end up getting it quite a bit thick. But I'm also dragging in towards the center of my lid like I typically do with liner, and just really blowing out that line. Like that. Ooh. And then I'm going to go in and do the same exact thing on the other side. So picking up more of that thorn, doing my eyeliner line, creating my flick. I'm trying to not face too far away from the camera and still do my flick, and that is not my best work. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to pick up a little extra and dot these areas so that it's not too dried out. And again, going in with that eyeliner, angled eyeliner, and just, I'm going to first kind of like clean up that wing on the very outer corner, and then I'm going to start flicking it in just a tiny bit like we did before, just to get it started. I'm going to let it sit for just a second to dry out, and then we're going to go back in with that eyeshadow, that flat shader brush that has a little thickness to it, or you could use a pencil brush here. I will say something like this works just a little bit faster to kind of blend out that line, and I've found just kind of like dragging along the line with no real intent is what's going to blend it the fastest. Because I have been trying to like build this type of look out, and you'll see this eye is a little bit more rounded, so I'm honestly just going to take my finger and carve that out a little bit. And I had brown on my hand. That's okay. We're going to go in with the foundation brush that we use and just clean that up. Just want to straighten that up like we have on the other eye. There we go. We might have straightened it up too much. Just whatever's left on the brush, just recreating that flick. There we go. Continue to blend and smudge. And I'll be honest, after doing my JLo video, I'm very tempted to try to do the tiniest flick in the middle, because I do want to go under the eye a little bit. So I'm going to take a tiny bit on that brush and just go in a little further there. Like a teensy bit. Okay. I'm going to go back into that angled brush, pick up a tiny bit more of thorn, and I'm just going to go along my bottom lash line and connect it. I'm keeping this very tight because I don't want it super smoky down there. I just want a little definition. Oh, I feel pretty cool already. And we're not even done yet. So I am going to go back into Carve just to blend out any harsh edges. And what I like to do with this, see if I can, I like to take my brush and kind of do this, thin it out. That way there's not too much on the brush. And then go in and start buffing that in to my crease and grab that outer corner last. And it'll bring some of that in. Do the same on this eye. My posture is crazy today. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. This is what I've been doing, minus that bronzer trick and the inner corner. This is the look I've been wearing. I wore it to see Hairspray. And Nina West was Big Mama, and it was fabulous. And I felt fabulous in this makeup, so really do like this makeup. I need to go clean up my hand, and we'll come back for the last finishing touch of the eye. All right, it's actually not that messy to like mix these colors too, which I think is what I love. I just love the doe foot, but you could leave it here, add your mascara and go. It's a beautiful look. I have done it that way, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be adding Boy Tears on top. And what I'm going to do with this one is take another flat shader brush. This is a MAC 242. Mine is short because it's a special edition. Also very old. And I'm just going to pick up some on the brush. And I'm going to tap this, starting in the center of the lid and tapping outwards and then in towards the inner corner here. And then I'm going to take my finger and just tap that out. And it's okay if it goes on top of that smoky liner. It's just going to help kind of like blend everything together and refract light. Look at that. It just takes it up a notch. So if you see what I mean, a beautiful matte look, but then adding this on top, it's beautiful. Beautiful. And I actually find the type of look that I did today a lot easier with these liquids, surprisingly, more so than powders. But I also am someone who have been doing a liquid liner wing for many, many years. So that could be why. Oh, look how it catches the light. It's so pretty. Very, very pretty. It's just going to add an ethereal look to the eyes. It's very much so accomplishing what that Makeup by Mario palette went looking for, but in one convenient shade package. And you can wear this. There is quite a bit of glitter, so I don't like wearing it as a highlight, but you know, you put this anywhere you want. On the lips. I think he shows it on the lips a couple of times. Very pretty. Which, speaking of, I'm going to take off my lip prep and we're going to use one of these on my lips as well. But first I am going to throw on some mascara. All right, I just threw on the Thrive Causemetics Liquid Lash Extensions in Crystal, which is the brown. My lashes are a little wonky, but I really like this look. I feel very pretty. And we're doing lips now. So I am going to line with Fitglow really quick, just for some structure. And then, we're going to do another mixture. I'm actually going to do 3 little dots of Heartist and then 1 little dot, 3 little dots of Carve. And then I'm going to take a brush. This is another Urban Decay brush, not the same one I used on my eyes. This brush, and I'm just going to blend those on my lip. And then pat together and continue to blend. Custom lift shade, and I love it. It kind of goes with the blush. It's toned down a little bit from if I were to just go straight in with Hardest. Now you could leave it just like this and have a beautiful matte lip. These are not nourishing. I wouldn't like them as much on my cheeks and my eyes if they were overly nourishing. It feels like a dry matte lip, but it's nothing super drying. If you are not new here, you know I don't like matte lips on myself, so I am going to cover it with a gloss. This is the Victoria Beckham Posh Gloss in Bikini. keeping us in kind of like a beige taupey nude. This is not taupe, but it's definitely beige. So not adding any additional color, if anything, just a slight beige baby pink. A beautiful shade, pairs lovely with Heartist. And this is the finished look. I hope that you enjoy this. Let's go ahead and round up my thoughts on the HINDASH Color Fluids. Okay, so this is the type of makeup product that re-excites me about makeup and allows me to play with makeup in a new way for me that accomplishes a look that I always want to achieve but might find difficult through other mediums. These are more liquidy in consistency than the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush. They also set down. If I'm going to play around with liquid products, mixing my own colors, that type of thing, words, I want it to be a little bit more fluid. I also want it to set down, especially if I'm wearing it on my cheeks and my eyes. This gives a very soft focus finish, and I don't know how he masters textures. Even his eyeshadow, or I guess they're not eyeshadow palettes, even his pigment palettes are absolutely incredible at soft focusing even the eye. It's because he works in these wonderful light layers, and if you mimic that when you're applying these products, they really shine through. But honestly, to me, these are more beginner friendly than I would have originally thought, especially doing a liquid line. If you find the right brush for you, whether that's an angled brush like we used or that almost painter looking brush that we used, it can make eyeliner so easy. The colors that it comes in are honestly everything that I personally need. I can get a very everyday look with this, and then I can get a statement look, especially in the spring and summer, with the Rising shade. This also can help kind of build a different blush look if you mix those two together, if you mix these three together. I have really enjoyed mixing my own colors, and I feel like I am in the driver's seat of what is flattering to my skin tone. At $25 a piece, they're not cheap. Like, that's not cheap if you want all the colors. I think if I really had to narrow it down, I would probably only pick up these three. And I will tell you why. For $25, they're not cheap. I did get them 25% off. So what is that? That's like $19. At $19, I think I would probably throw Boy Tears in there. But at $25, even $19, I would probably stick with these. And it is because these are the colors that I can get an entire full face out of and not have to reach for anything else for my base or my eyes or my lips outside of maybe a gloss and mascara. And the formula is spot on. It is not a case that this doesn't perform like the others. It's just I don't wear this color that often. I think with Boy Tears, it is a beautiful, gorgeous product. And I think my hang up with it is the few times that I've worn it, I don't know if I'm layering it wrong or layering it up too much, but it tends to get a little crumbly in spots, and that could be user error that I'm not blending out kind of the chunks a little bit. So if I show you when you put it on, you can kind of see almost brush strokes, but you can see where there's a little bit of extra texture where some of the glitter might have like clumped up a little bit. If you don't pat that out or blend that out, it will kind of dry in that cluster. And because it does dry down so well, it can be a little crumbly on the eye after a full day. I'm not talking about like a couple hours. I'm talking about like a full day or evening in it. But it is gorgeous. It's just that I have powders that give me this effect that I could easily swap on top of this. I will use this. I think this is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. For bridal stuff that I'm doing, I think this is absolutely gorgeous. But I also really love Fractal Freesia, and I can control easier the layer of, or the amount of glitter that I'm putting on. So I'm kind of torn on this. I really like it. I think if it was a smoother glitter or shine, I'd be more apt to maybe bring it on to my cheekbones, and then it would almost fill a different void for me than Fractal Freesia. But I do think I prefer Fractal Freesia from Phytosurgence over this. However, it's stunning. It's nothing bad about the product. If this looks like something you would use and maybe you don't have the availability to get Phytosurgence, this is a standout product, and at $25, it's not bad. And then if you can get it on sale, even better. The matte fluids, I would recommend them all. They're absolutely stunning. It's just a matter of what colors work for you and what you're going to wear the most. I can't stop wearing pretty much this exact eye look, and I love it. And I think I ranted enough. I hope you enjoyed this, kind of catching up with me, random tidbits going on. I am going to take a voice rest, potentially dry my hair with the Dyson, because that is something I'm working on. And then we're gonna film some yearly favorites, and just you wait and see. It's gonna be a good one. So I hope that you're having a wonderful day and you are buckling up for some yearly favorites going up this week. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.